goodbye sub 4% mortgages, and hello 2.3% inflation. Inflation up. Are we going to head towards a property crash? In this video, we're going to go exactly into that. The effects on inflation going up, the effects on the mortgages going up, why they've gone up, how they've gone up, what the outlook looks, and what I'm actually doing in our business to kind of navigate these kind of still choppy times, especially with Labour just coming in. So let's just dive straight in. So the headline leads with here, BBC headline here saying UK inflation higher, energy bills push up the rates to 2.3% in October, because we had that cap lifting as well. And the other headline, this was just over a week ago, this is before this announcement, but the bank started pricing this in. This is in GB News. We are quite sensationalized anyway, but they said mortgage disaster as Barclays and NatWest scrap sub 4% mortgage rate. We was heading in a really good direction. So the base rate on the last bank announcement come down from 5% to 2.5%. Second consecutive time. Inflation previously in October was at 1.7%, lower than their target. Their target for this time of the year, at the beginning of the year, was 2.7%. It's at 2.3%. They did predict it's going to rise to 2.2%, but the big driver behind this is the energy bills. It absolutely baffles me. If you could put in the comments why you think this is allowed. Like, look, the government have come in and they've done stealth taxes, which there's other videos here that says about what the budget. They've stealth taxed people by not raising the band. So inflation's going up, so all your costs are going up, but they've not raised the band for years now on where your tax band hits the higher rate, you know? So that is a massive stealth tax, going to raise like billions and billions. They're pressuring businesses. Again, they're saying they're not going to take it out of the working person's pocket, but ultimately by charging extra national insurances to businesses, that will get passed on to the working person. And think about it, are the government like stupid enough not to think, look, if I'm happy to pay XYZ for national insurance and XYZ for a salary, it means that's how much you're happy to have that employee in your business for. So had you not having to pay the national insurance contributions and the pension contributions for your employees, that money would directly go into the pocket of the employee, because that's the budget that a company can pay for that talent of staff, and you just budget it in, so it gets factored in, so they get paid less as a result of what the government are demanding from it, and for substandard services what they're providing. There is talk to putting 45 billion back into all our infrastructure, which is much needed, but let's see if that happens. There is talk about the housing market. That's definitely talk for another day. But let's have a look at some of these articles and what they're saying. The ONS, said higher gas and energy prices offset by low oil prices, which reduced the transport to raw material cost and manufacturing businesses. Falling price, the quarterly energy price cap rose 10% to £1,717 in October, and the cap is forecast to rise again in January to put annual bills up to £1,736. I really struggle to get my head around this. As I said, they talk about rent caps on landlords and all these different things. Their profits, don't quote me, put it in the comments, because I've not got the data in front of me, but I believe their profits went from something like either 7 billion or 17 billion. As I said, if you know the exact statistics, put it in there, up to like 75 billion, these energy companies. There's no extra tax on them. There's no cap on that, on what they can charge. Like, look, I'm not against big businesses earning good money, and I get why big businesses pay as low tax as possible, because it leaves you an uncompetitive advantage. And especially if you've got a big business like Tesla, like one battery recall on a car exploding, or like Samsung when the phones were exploding, you need them reserves to keep on moving forward. Like, you do need that capital in. But when there's margins like that, that is just ridiculous. I can't understand for the life of me why the government do not step in, because this has a direct reflect on all inflation. As I said, all shop owners, cost them more money to put the lights on, to put food in the fridge if they've got a food business. It costs more money to store food in warehouses. This energy cost, very much like oil, has a knock-on effect to the whole industry, not just your household bills. It has an effect on all the shops and their prices going up. So it is absolutely ridiculous. I can't understand why the government don't step in. Here it says in the Guardian article, retailers have said the measures announced by Labour's budget last month will ultimately lead to higher prices, and tax rises have already hit consumers' confidence. And again, we're going to talk about the property market as well and come back to how it affects it. Sentiment is absolutely massive, and especially with the banks. So the banks were already being wobbled. So again, same article from Guardian. Policymakers at the Bank of England, who were tasked to keep inflation near to 2%, have cut interest rates twice to 4.75%, but further reductions. The meeting in December is likely to be put off to February at least. So that's not good news for people that want to get lower rates. There could be an underlined silver lining, if that's the right word, but there could be good news for property investors, but definitely not for people who already got mortgages, back to remortgage. I had a mortgage on a property that I looked at it before the budget, and I thought, should I put, it's due in March, the end of the term, and I'm like, should I get the offer on it now? I got sidetracked and didn't do it. Then I looked after the budget and I was like, oh, it's still pretty reasonable. And then I heard the announcement of base rate coming down. And I was like, I'll hang off and get my mortgage offer because I feel the mortgages will come down as the Bank of England base rate's gone down. But Bank of England base rate down, but the bank lending has gone up. And that is down to the swap rates. And basically what the swap rates are is how the banks lend money to each other, and they always factor in future stuff. And the reason the swap rates have gone up, although the base rates have come down, is because the banks was pricing this in, and it was pretty open news that the inflation was going to go up. It's gone up higher than they thought, so this got a very, very high probability that this is going to stop them from keep on lowering the base rate going forward. This is from Mortgage Strategies. April Mortgage Director Rachel Hunts, I'm not sure how you pronounce her second name, I'm a bit dyslexic, comments, inflation soaring back to above the Bank of England's 2% target is fresh blow to borrowers, effectively ruling out any chance of a base rate cut in December. The bank has previously indicated that lower inflation would help drive down further rate cuts, but this spike changes the economic outlook. Mortgage rates have been creeping up since the budget and may be further impacted as a result of today's announcement, which is higher than most market experts expected. So this, as a general, like for borrowing, is going to have an impact, but for buying, it helps. Like, look, I've been in the game since 2009, and look, we've just done deals like these. These sort of deals have been all money out deals, which we have helped sell on for people that's in my program. If you want to join our program, you want to be a deal sourcer, this has been a great time because you can negotiate significant discounts. The cash flow is a little bit restricted, but ultimately, all consensus is over the next 2 to 3 years that will come down. It's exactly what happened to me in 2009. I bought with rates at about 6.5%. And then when the rates come down, the house price jumped up. I managed to recycle all my money out. I had a small cash flow for a few years until the rates come down. And then I had bigger cash flow and more borrowing against the property. So this is what we're saying to the investors. It's been a great time as a deal sourcer. And I've got an academy where we help people source on deals. And we're selling deals. There's no stopping that because we're doing them in areas. I'm from the south, but I invest in the north. And people in my academy, we teach you how to do this remotely, to do it in places like Wales in the north, in some parts of the northwest. Per earnings ratio is really aligned, and buying things under 100k, the stamp duty rises, even the interest going up doesn't affect these quite as much, and all of my rents have gone up more sharply than the interest rates, and how much money I get in each month, because I've come to some of my end of my fixed terms, way exceeds the amount of what the interest has gone up, because loads of people are leaving the market because of interest rates, leaving the market because of all these regulations and these tax changes. So there's pressure on the rental market, and rents are going up more rapid than they've ever done before. And again, look, I'll talk about this all-weather property portfolio. I got this from Ray Dalio. This is my portfolio. And Ray Dalio, all the best investors, they're stock investors, but the same principle carries across to the property market. Is you've got to weather ups and downs in the market. If you keep them jumping out whenever there's a bit of a tough time, like time in the market, Warren Buffett says, will beat time in the market. And if you can ride the storms, you get the ups on the other side. And my opinion is there's going to be a great up on this, even for landlords, and there's still upward pressure because we're just not building enough, and we're way behind that. And even with Labour's pledges, it's still going to be impossible to catch up. We're like 4.5 million homes in a deficit of what we actually need for today. So even if they start building 300,000 a year like they're promising, we're going to be behind for a hell of a long time. And you look at all the big players in the world like Black Lloyds, and all, even like John Lewis, are getting into this space because it is still a great asset class. And BlackRock control the biggest amount of money in the world, they wouldn't be buying low value residential properties had it not be a good asset to own. So I see massive opportunity with this. This keeps the opportunity there. It's very much a buyer's market, and when there's bad sentiment in the market, that creates that. And as I said, these deals, I'll show you some more of these deals, were sold for our investors. Just the other day, this got posted into my group. I didn't find this deal, and I partner with people. So look, if you want to get into deal sourcing and you want to join my program, you do have to qualify for it. I will introduce you to investors, and we'll just teach you how to find the deals, and then we'll introduce you to investors. You get keep all the profits. We take a small amount out to cover the sort of admin of running WhatsApp group. So the link in the bio will be there if you're interested in that. But we're still going forward with this. The budget hasn't really changed a significant amount. It's still definitely very much a viable asset class. We're still very much getting involved with this and moving forward. So have a watch of this video here if you want to learn more about property deal sourcing, or here wherever that shows you. But if you're still here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. It really does help this channel if you found it useful. Loads of you watch this but don't hit the subscribe button, so please do me a favor and do that. Share it out if you think it's going to be useful for somebody. Tag somebody in below. Let me know your comments on where you think the market is going to be below. But remember, my wife live my terms, and my mission is that as many people live on their terms. So if you don't evolve your ideas, you're never going to live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms, and have an amazing day. Make sure you watch this video here that Google is suggesting you'll like next.